Okay. I'm gonna do a live transcript. You could just click yes. Cheryl, I'm taking us in. All right, we're live.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, Subak Jam, everyone. Good morning, Habari Gani.
Yes, Mbali. We're so excited to celebrate KWANZAA with you all. We will be unpacking and talking about UJAMAA and Nia, our cooperative economics and our purpose, our collective purpose. So welcome Facebook family. Welcome everybody in the Zoom space. How y'all doing? Good morning, Adam. Good morning, Stacy. Hey, Brandon. Bola. Good to see you all in the space. We have some exciting guests for you all to meet. Hey, Lisa.
Yes, her
Good morning.
blessing family. Good morning.
Good morning, blessings.
Good morning to everyone. On behalf of, we have New York, we have Brooklyn in the house, we have Jersey is definitely representing here. Coach Catherine. Oh, all right. Yes, the Boogie Down. And we also have Senegal, West Africa in the house from coast to coast. We are here and very excited.
Absolutely. So without further ado, we are going to get this party started. Again, super excited for all of you to be joining us today. Really special presentation. And I heard this is our first international presentation. So yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
All right.
Very excited. So we're gonna let our admin take us through the wake up song.
Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. It's time to get up. Stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. It's time to get up. We're healing, we're dealing, we're growing. Together, releasing. We're teaching, we're moving. Together, we're learning, discerning. We're striving. Together, we're leading, connecting, transforming. Together.
Right, that song cannot like just be energized after hearing the wake up song. It's such a blessing for the morning. So again, thank you all for joining us. We are so honored to be with you all this morning. on this beautiful day of UJAMAA. Thank you so much. Who was that put it in the chat? I think that was, Louise started us off with Habarigani and it's UJAMAA, Asante Sana. Thank you so much. We will go into sharing slides, and I will have our guests introduce themselves, so you can get to know them a little better. And then we're going to do a deep dive into unpacking what this day means for us and what tomorrow means for us, and to what our future means for us. So we know that KWANZAA is, something that was generated and co-created here in America by African Americans, but we're looking at it through a Pan-African lens. This is really a global perspective that we are talking about and unpacking today. So we're so excited to share and just open our minds. So I am going to share my screen with you all. I'm really excited again. As you can see, we are going to be talking about UJAMAA and Nia, unpacking cooperative economics and collective purpose. And without further ado, y'all know me, I hope. If you don't know me, my name is Catherine Mbali Johnson. I am a curator. I do a social justice activist. I also am a visionary consultant. I do various projects in the community, primarily for the upliftment and empowerment of African Americans, of Africans all over the globe. And so my work primarily is focused on that, on the African diaspora experience. So from reparations to artist collectives, to, again, social justice issues that affect us here. That is my focus. That is what I do. That is what I love. I'm also a coach for Spirit of a Woman in the Be the Tree Rites of Passage program, focusing on women's empowerment and growth, which I also just absolutely love. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, all of that as well. And so juggling all of this is a lot, but it is absolutely my passion and pleasure. So without further ado, again, I'm going to have our guests introduce themselves. And so first up, we have Dr. Angela Fatou Gittens, and I'll let her unmute. You can go.
I would like to say again, Habarigani, greetings to everyone. Good morning, wake up everybody. It's wonderful to be here in the circle, in this space. I also want to give a special shout out to a person that means a lot to me as well in this space. And in addition to my sister, girl, Coach Catherine, to be able to connect in so many ways. I also want to shout you out. My twin, Dion, is in the house visiting, and it's so good to see you. It's good to also see Afriye coming through, my sisters, in so many ways in the cultural circle, in the world of dance. I am Dr. Angela Fatou Gittens. I have loved to teach people about the expression that they have as Africans throughout the globe. And that is the creative expression, whether it be through verbal languages, nonverbal languages, and including dance, movement. I am also a community organizer. I am one of the co-founders of the Brooklyn Cultural Arts Coalition. I am also a visionary in that I love working with young and open creative minds. If you have it within you, if you are open for it, you can do it. And I love to teach people how to bring that language out of their own bodies. And one of the ways that I have developed that particular purpose and talent that I have been given by the Creator is through the creation of the Al-Kebulan International Language and Diaspora Studies Institute. Al-Kebulan being the name, one of the original names of the continent of Africa, and making sure that people, wherever we are in the world, if we are of African descent, we can learn how to speak each other's language. We can learn to appreciate each other's language. And we have a deep appreciation and an admiration and an understanding of each other wherever we are and whichever language we choose to speak, be it the language of our mothers and our ancestors, or be it the language of our children and their community and world. That being said, I am also a mother, I am a wife, and I love being a part of circles of sisters and brothers such as this one. Thank you guys. It's wonderful being here today. Jërëjëf bu baax a baax a baax. And you Olaf.
Okay. And passing it to introduce himself, Baba Mika Guissé. Baba Mika, if you can unmute yourself. You having sound issues?
Want me to go on?
There you go.
Okay, salam everybody. My real name is Serigne Mansour, and I'm most known as Magzu. Graffiti artist. I'm also painter. I'm comic book artist. I'm a digital artist. I'm doing a lot of things at the same time, but also revolutionary Pan-African activist through all the continent, just moving through the flag of the West African chapter of the Black Panther Party here in Senegal. I'm also one of the co-founder and the president of RBS based in Senegal, but also having several members all around Africa and all worldwide. I am passionate about art, passionate about the music, our culture, everything is really give the definition of who is African people all around the world. I am father, I am husband, just so in love for my African queen. It's my wife, just giving a special thanks to her. So I have two sons. We carry the name of Baham, my spiritual master, and the second one is named Malcolm X. I name him in the memory of Malik Ashaba's Malcolm X. So I'm glad to be there and sharing that special moment with all of you, and just showing love and respect for what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. And so we have Baba Mika having some connection issues. So once he gets back on, we'll have him introduce himself as well. So again, thank you all. Again, our first international presentation. And I failed to mention, but if you hadn't made the assumption yet, but Mansour is actually in Senegal right now. Fatou, where are you? Are you in Pekin as right now or in Dakar? I think you froze.
Madzu? Fonekni. One of the things that we love to do is, of course, use our African tongues and our appreciation for African languages. So you will hear today, in addition to the Kiswahili terms for the principles of KWANZAA, you will also be hearing Wolof, which I do teach through my language institute, Alkewulan, but also Madzu and Mika speak Wolof, especially since they are based in Senegal. Madzu, are you there?
I think we might have lost him too.
Okay.
We'll let them both back in when they come.
Yes, yes.
Yes, so connection issues, we're gonna work that out and welcome them back in. But in the meantime, we will definitely go into our principles for today. And so I am going to talk about and just unpack UJAMAA, cooperative economics. Oh, there's Matsu. Cooperative economics. And so if you are unfamiliar with this term, it is the, again, principle for today, and it means for us to build and maintain our own stores, our shops, and other businesses, and to profit from them together, right? So they're what we are experiencing here in America and most of the world, right? Capitalism, which is, you know, deeply rooted in white supremacy, deeply rooted in my perspective and my lens, greed. And so what cooperative economics, it is everyone wins, everyone eats. And so there's a way in which that we can walk in this world we can maintain ourselves, we can support ourselves as well as we're supporting others. I truly believe in this. I truly believe in the opportunities for all of us to win, and not just some of us make it and, you know, leave others behind. I think it is important for us as an African people, wherever we are, that we are continuing to look and to seek this out. So my husband and I started a company called the Allende Travel Collective. And so what we do is it's a journey that we take. We partner with Dr. Gittens. We partner with her to teach language. So we start off that way. We start off with language classes. So before we even travel to go anywhere, that we, one, understand the culture, to understand how to communicate, and not just to communicate. She walks us through the entire, like the roots of the language, you know, even gestures and things like that. So we're fully in respect and understanding of who we're about to meet and where we are from the global perspective. So we do that first. And we were, again, intentional about seeking out a Black-owned company to do this with. Of course, we love her and we already knew her, but not doing, but not going to, you know, those large, big box language, you know, conglomerates. That's not what we're about. It's not what we're interested in. And then also, we were very intentional about when we traveled to Senegal, that we, one, partnered with a tour guide that was deeply rooted, one Black-owned, and deeply rooted in the history, and can connect us with other Black-owned restaurants and hotels for us to stay in. So Mika, and hopefully he gets back on, is that, right? So his company is Trip Tour Senegal. The first time I traveled to Senegal, I met with him. It was just God sent. We connected and he was just phenomenal. So I made sure I reached back out to him and had him conduct the tour. Again, very intentional, makes very clear, wherever we stay, it has to go into the money has to go back into the community. Wherever we eat, money has to go back into the community. And so that was our intention. And so with that, Dr. Fatou introduced us to Matsu, who is a creative genius in my respect, is an artist and supports other artists in Senegal as well. And so, you know, bringing him into the fold, learning all about his perspective and lens just took it to a whole other level. And so that's my purpose for bringing us all together today, so we can continue to support and know who we are. And so with that, my question to everyone, and I'm going to start with Dr. Fatou, and then Matsu, you can jump in. Wanted to just talk about the importance of this. What do you, in your life, in your walks, in your journeys, how do you prioritize this principle in your lives? And then we'll open it up for the audience, and everyone else can light up the chat, talk about what you do, your practices, to make sure that this is alive, not just during KWANZAA, but like every day. We talk about the Buy Black movement, everyone's buying Black, everyone is supporting Black-owned businesses, but we also want to make sure it's not a replication of capitalism, right? We want to make sure that it's not just giving our money and then those businesses are just replicating what again, what is rooted in white supremacy. We want to do something different where everyone can win. So if you have any examples, if you want to share anything, please raise your hands, light up the chat. And then again, I'm going to pose that question to Dr. Fatou.
Yes, well, I will definitely begin by saying clearly from our chat, Queens is representing also this morning. So welcome, Queens. The Queens of Queens are here so far, that was what we have seen. And then to just talk a little bit about UJAMAA and the importance of working together and supporting each other in our businesses. This is just like Coach Catherine said, something that we should be practicing every single day, 365 days a year. It's one way that we look at the principles of the Nguzo Saba and we put them into practice by constantly looking for businesses that are owned by people of African descent and finding ways to use, access, and support each other's services. And one of the first examples of that, just within what Coach Catherine even said, is that when we were planning or thinking through this trip to Senegal, she and her husband, my brother Kojo, came to me and approached me about Al-Kibalon Institute of Languages and in Diaspora Studies, to be a part of that network of planners for their journey to Senegal, and if having me bring the language skills to their planning of the trip for those participants who would be going. And the first thing we did was start working on ways that we can connect to each other business-wise, so that we can then continue to support the businesses that they have started to support in Senegal, beginning with Mika Guissé's tour company, and then also me thinking about Matsu and what he does as a creative mind. And once we were in Senegal, fast forward, right, from the understanding of culture and language and getting to Senegal and touching ground between there and the Gambia, we were also able to meet with similar minds that also wanted to work with people of African descent from this side of the water, as well as continuing to support the businesses, the hotels, the spaces, the smaller businesses of whether it's merchants, and including, like I said, Mika's tour company and the people that he supports with his tour company. And for me, that was a dynamic example of UJAMAA, because this is where we have to stay as a people, connected and tied and together as we work together in Umoja and be on the same page as a people. I really, truly appreciate any opportunity to support each other, because we continue to lift each other up, and we don't have to depend on someone else doing that for us. We don't have to wait for a movement for someone to then say from outside of our community, outside of our economic community, hey, this is what you all need to do, support African people. We don't need, we've been supporting each other, and we have to continue to do that. And it's happened for long before it became a popular expression to support Mbali Black. And I truly believe that if we continue to do that 365 days a year, we will continue to forward ourselves and support ourselves and do even more as a community and network.
Thank you for that. And Matsu, we're gonna ask you to unmute and answer the question as well. We just want to also keep in mind it is 7:28, and so we're approaching 7:30. So for those of us, we're probably going to take another 15 minutes to continue for the day. So if you can join us with that, that'd be awesome. But Matsu, if you can also share your thoughts on cooperative economics.
For me, the forcible things, I'm going to talk according to my experience.
I was feeling that in my corner, I was artist in my soul, and I had some vision. I have some love, some dreams that I wanted to share with my community. But when you go out and you just like join the global join of this vision of industry, economy, and all of those things, I was realizing that more part of people miss the point when they say that they come together and want to organize something economically because they don't base it in their values of African people. They want to just like to make it in the way that that's the kind of way of white supremacy is based on capitalism, just like gain profit, gain profit, gain profit. And if you can use the others to get to your goal, it's not matter. I was not going through that vision. And that's why in a moment I decide to invite brothers and sisters to do it, but on another level, in a way that it's about complementary forces joining the same circle. If we can do that, we're stronger. And the history proved that here in Senegal, because at the starting, that was about, oh, then I can't do it. Because more of the time when you want to do something big, you have straight to wait for the government or external partner come to organize things for you. And in my vision of things, that was really important to destroy that first point and build from that, how can we organize by ourselves? That was just an education point first to make the youngest understand that they are the first resources they aspire to get, just to make them understand that they got the knowledge, they got the power, they got the ability to make it happen. And when they get in that state of mind, they just like go to the mindset that was more easy to make things happen and just organize a kind of economic circle that I can give to my brother, to my sister, and get it back from him. So this money now going to just like go out to the community, but stay in the community in a way that if I'm in the art domain, someone is in a sport, someone is music, someone is just like selling, we succeed to create that community where each one can grow, but we all growing at the same time. And for me, that was really important for our people, particularly here, to understand that that's the first point. It's about connecting tools. It's about connecting feelings, but having just like the same vision despite all differences. And it just being at the point that we're going to keep focus on the same aim and being possible to organize economically, because that's the kind of power that we can have to say things and it just organize things, or just to do what we aspire to do by us for us.
Mm-hmm.
That was really important. Through our history, we all learned that there is a lot of things just like deformed because we, out of more part of them, we need to write our own history. I was doing like the same way to say, hey, don't complain because the artists create a kind of economic system and impose it to you.
Mm.
If you want to fight that, make an economic system and move on.
Mm.
More you make people understand that they have to join that same move, more you're growing, and more you're growing, more you're stronger. And you will come up at the point that you're going to control your education, you're going to control your health, you're going to control your politics, you're going to control your art, and everything you want to say. You say it according to your reality, because that's really important to stay at that point that you say things according to your reality.
Mm-hmm.
And not just like wait to the others to give you a kind of model to say that if you want to be recognized as successful man or successful women, you have to be like that. Mm-hmm. Who say that?
Mm.
First point I asked to the young people, who say that? But what about you? What is your definition of beauty? What is your definition of richness? What is your definition of building structure? You have nothing to learn externally. Architecture is born here, science born here. And all those things help to create the economic forces that the artists move on. But you're the source of all of that. You have just to wake up in your mind. That's the interior job that you have to go on first. And everything is coming outside is external of the reality you live in. It's go by education. When you get that point, it's going to be easier to organize an economic system. And that's what exactly we're doing here. We at this house, we invite something like more than 40 artists, and we do it by ourselves. Our government give nothing, no external partner. We did it by ourselves because we take a serious long time each year to work during the whole year to create that economic platform and giving the opportunity to the youngest one to be put at the front. And everything is organized at the Afrocentrism vision and the Pan-African vision.
Thank you for that. Whew, powerful, absolutely powerful. Started us off this morning with some serious thought, not waiting, right? Not waiting, like creating our own steps out of our own, just our own realities, right? Like not emulating. And I love what Imani said in the chat. And Imani, if you are able to come off a mute and just share your thought, that would be awesome. So I love what you said about not copying, not emulating white supremacy. Imani, are you able to unmute?
Yes, great day, everyone.
Okay.
I guess my thought is really coming from my own space of the work that I do in birth work. And in my heart, knowing that this is work that is community work and has always been community work within, our communities. And that doesn't mean that there should not be an exchange and a value for the work and the service that's given. But I see many times that sometimes folks are trying to emulate the white practice of monetizing this, So that's just my personal take, that we cannot, always put this capitalistic focus on how we are approaching our work. There's a way to still model things within the community and for everyone to be served and receive for their service without it having to be, just on the dollar or just emulating this, it's for gain, profit. And I'm complete.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for that. And I know we are pressed for time, so I'm gonna share our next slide and we're gonna talk about Nia. So I'll pass it to you, Dr. Gittens. Let me just share the slide for you. Oops, sorry, wrong way. All right.
Yes, so as we may have heard in thinking about what Nia is, it is a term in Kiswahili which means purpose, and that is to make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community in order to restore our people to their traditional greatness. And I have a question that I would love to just begin by hearing how Madzu, how you would respond to this, which is, when did you actually know that you were carrying out your purpose or your Nia, right? For your Senegalese community, so on a local scale, as well as for people of African descent on a global or an international scale? At what point did you know that you were fulfilling one of your purposes?
I would say that when I was a child, I was that kind of curious child. I remember that I was used to ask some type of special question to my parents because I was watching TV and I was seeing at the other side of the oceans some people looking like me. But what they was doing there, I was like wondering for my parents to be able to answer to that kind of question. Why my people was like everywhere all around the world, who we are. I was asking that type of question because I was feeling inside that I was born for something, but I didn't know what. And I was feeling at the same time that when I was practicing my art, when I was doing art, I was feeling so special and blessed in a way that some people was coming to see it. And I was just coming back the day after to say, hey, when I see your last walk, I learned a lot of things on it. And it pushed me to ask some question to myself. I was like, oh, that's really spiritual. If only arts can have this power on you, and it just like, we go at the point that I'm artist, I'm just expressing myself, I'm just giving my perspective of life. So if it can push you to ask some question to your condition, that's where start the really tools about, hey, this art is for something specific. And as I said, I was curious. I go through the history to learn, to realize that as African people, we was not just like doing art for decoration. We was doing art to express a kind of spiritual being. And this spiritual being, when you finish to express it and to put it on the support, can be possible to communicate to the other spiritual being. So I was more just like connecting to the spiritual force that I'm going to use the art to educate back my people. Because that was, for me, the first point that I have to go on first before organizing anything else that was about education. And it come up at the point that I see some brothers and sisters in America, in South America, in Asia, there was everywhere. And I was feeling some similarity when they was just like coming with the hip hop movement, for example. I was like, hey, I recognize myself in it. But it's not from here in Africa. I was like, nah, it might be some link. And I have to find this link. And when I find this link, I will be possible to communicate with my African people in yours. If I find this same link, I can communicate with my African people on the other continent. And that where things start to be organized in my mind to make me understand that this art is a purpose. This art is something like really powerful to build bridges between my African people, but at the same time, destroying mental borders. And I had vision of things and understand that what I'm doing, like in the way that I practice this art, is a kind of moving by the flesh, but for a spiritual purpose. And I use this art to paint, to educate, but also to call my people for joining the circle. Like the griot were doing in the past. It's a kind of beating drums to say, people, come, join me.
Oh, wow. That is absolutely powerful, Fatou. I see it. I wish we had more time. This is
powerful.
Go ahead, Catherine. Go ahead. We're with you.
Such a powerful conversation. I really, oh my gosh.
I wanted to ask, there's some people also asking about your about Madzu's art in the chat, and I will say that Madzu's an amazing his visual art, and just in a nutshell, if I kind of think about some of the ways that you would see his visual expression, he does street murals. He does art on canvases of different types, for clothing included, shoes included, and he teaches not only to young minds how to create that art in a way of technique and graffiti in ways that look very much like graffiti, but then that have so many layered, deep messages. Let me just put that with using Wolof and using English, using whichever languages that African people speak. He creates these murals and wall and street art all over the world, and including, and I will put a plug in here, that he went to Oakland, California, and actually created an amazing wall art design as a tribute to the Queen warriors, and that are known through the Black Panther movement. So if anybody's out there near Oaktown, go and check out that wall, because it's a beautiful wall, and he does this throughout the world. So Madzu, you may want to say some of the ways you can show, or where people can go to actually see some of your work.
Okay, I'm gonna share artists of link that they can go to just like check our work and understand the real artistic purpose of all of that.
Awesome. This is yeah, we also have your contact information that we're going to share in a minute, and the chat is lighting up too.
Your IG is already in there too, so if you want to add another link, please do.
So we have
get some new followers.
Follow your work. But I see a hand up, Teresa, if you would go ahead and unmute yourself and share. And then
hi, good morning, my brother from Senegal. So glad to meet you. I went to bed so late, and I was like, Spirit, please wake me up so I can be on this call. And I'm just so grateful. What I wanted to say to you and to the ladies that are here is that what I find is that especially in the USA, New York, sometimes I find that the businesses, the Black businesses, sometimes are not, people are not as supportive of Black businesses. What I'm finding out, and I just feel like sometimes, like the young lady said, it's about making a whole bunch of money, but not really understanding that people, on different levels and stuff like that. I remember a friend of mine I used to work for. She had a store, and she had like a lot of high end stores. And I said to her, I said, I think you should do like 1, 2, 3, like low end, then middle end, then high end. And she didn't listen, and so she ended up closing her store down. And because she had some beautiful things, but they were so expensive, and that people really could not afford them. And I think sometimes when people are doing stuff like that, they don't think about everyone else. But the thing that I really liked what you said was that, when the question I want to ask you is that, how do you help people that say they don't have money to start business? Like I just recently started doing grant finding. And so now, because I'm tapping in that, I'm able to, start doing, that part of my business. But before then, and to wake up and being involved with everybody has changed my whole view about even looking at finances and wanted to go. And like, I never wanted to go to Africa because I was afraid. But by Sister Catherine and other people coming on, man, I'm ready to go to Africa, but I have to physically, get well enough in order to go. But the point of it is that I want to go. And so the thing what I'm wondering is, like, how do people that are doing like startup business who possibly don't have the money, how do you help them? Because there are a lot of talented people out here who don't really have the funding to, to like, they don't know how to start business, or they don't even know how to get in. I have some ideas that I actually want to share with you also too, because of some group that I also connected with too, that could actually assist with, with all of y'all with your business. Because one of the things that I noticed and I'm gonna get off and let somebody else speak, is that there's like the Bitcoin part of the business is coming in, and we have to make sure as that we include that Bitcoin people, because a lot of people are using Bitcoin and not using cash now. So that's the other thing that that I'm want to bring to find out, do y'all deal with that? And I'm complete. And thank you again for bringing this a beautiful. Mwah.
Love you so much, Teresa. That's a perfect and beautiful question. There's so many layers to it. I want to just add to it that yes, there's a whole new economic system developing, right? So we have the Bitcoin movement, we have the metaverse that's coming out, we have all of these things that are developing. But like Mansour said, and Dr. Gittens as well, at the core of whatever we do, the principle of UJAMAA should be key, right? So no matter if it's cash, no matter if it's bank, whatever it is, that we have to keep in mind, everyone eats. And what spirit just kind of sprung up in me, my mom shared this, I don't think it's a proverb, but I think it's like my mother's a social worker, but she shared with me this story once, and it blew my mind. When I think I was about 13, and she shared a story of a table. It's called a table in hell, table in heaven. And there's a long table, right? It's a very long table, people sitting across from one another, excuse me, in hell, right? Quote unquote. And everyone is eating, they have these long forks, they're really long, but they're starving because they can't get the food, right? They can't feed themselves. This fork is so long, they can't feed themselves. So everyone's starving to death. And then you have the same table in quote unquote heaven, right? And the same table, everyone's sitting across from themselves, same long spoons, but at this table, everyone's feeding each other across the table. So everyone eats. And so it totally blew my mind at 13 years old, like, oh my God, like, we can't just focus on ourselves, right? Because we will eventually starve. It's not possible to be, to live in a society like that. But that is what the focus is, right? Me. I gotta get mine. But we all win when we start to feed each other and as community. And so, yes, grants are available. There's all sort of programs available out there. And you also want to be cautious too. I run a nonprofit organization. I'm also an entrepreneur. I'm very careful about who I take money from if I do get grants, because sometimes there's a lot of strings attached. Like Fatou said, doing without government sometimes I prefer not to. I've learned my lessons working with government agencies. I've learned my lessons getting funds from foundations that are rooted in white supremacy. There's some strings attached there. So my focus now is focusing on collective works, right? Is how do we raise funds together in order to support our movements? It may not be, as lucrative, but it can be. There's a lots of movements that can be lucrative, and everyone benefits from them. Have lots and lots to share on that topic, but again, this only who wants to be on here for 30 minutes?
We already went over, Catherine. It's all good. I do want to segue us into some of the Facebook comments so that align with what you're saying. So Kay Sweetness says, posture is a word which comes to mind in this conversation. We have to relearn to trust each other's business and money-wise. We all deserve abundance. So like you said, feeding each other, making sure that we all gonna eat, right? So that was a great example. Thank you for that, Catherine. And then Nayamo said, I go out of my way to buy from an Africa-owned halal grocery store near her. And so we got a lot of For us, by us, a lot of FUBU, rooting for everybody Black energy in this chat. So, and I said, how we gonna win when we ain't right within, from Lauryn Hill, when Madzou was saying, what is this reality going on internally before you can externally start living your purpose, right? So you have to do this re-examination of self before you can externally start on this journey that you're on. So thank you so much for Madzou for that. And then Mama Amal, you have your hand up and you also asked about bargaining. So I don't know if you want to continue with that and we can jump in from there.
I'm from the old school. We started traveling to Africa back in the 80s, 70s, 80s, trying to set up business trades. This brother, if Young, he would have the Black Expo, bringing Africans to this continent and merging with American. And I don't know what happened with that. So I'm in agreement. I'm glad, Mahmoud, I'm hearing you put your finger up to the fact that we've got to come in here first, because what is going to be different? I see you young people, because I'm in my 70s. I see you young people with the same ideas we had when I was your age. And we've gotten, but I don't know how far we've gotten actually, because my finger's not on that pulse anymore. But what is it how can we be different, come with a different mindset for a different outcome is what my question is. And it doesn't have to be answered, it's just a food for thought. And I'm complete.
If I may also just chime in on that, Sherilyn, thank you very much for that. I wanted to just go back to two quick things that were brought up already about the grants. I know there was that question about what can artists do or small businesses do in order to get the support. An agreement completely with Coach Catherine, and how we have to be very mindful of what governments and what other institutions who control certain monies are doing when they are granting us. We also have to be mindful that many grants also operate in a way where they reimburse the grantees. Once you win a certain amount or you're granted a certain amount of money, it is with the assumption that for a period of time, you can actually front the money that you're being granted and put that towards whatever it is that you've for the purpose of your grant, or for your work. And then you wait. There's a period of waiting where you get the money back eventually, months and months later. And that's just not always our reality. Unfortunately, we have to, just like we're saying here in the space, we have to find ways that we can continue to support each other. And I think that what's really important is this idea of forgiveness and healing within our own community with businesses. Sometimes we will go into a space or support a business or a service that is African owned, Black owned, and then we will feel, we see one mistake, or if someone does something that doesn't quite rub them the right way, now we don't want to go back. We don't want to support them anymore. We don't want to support Black businesses. And that is the blanket reason and purpose that we say that we're not going to be buying Black anymore, or we're not going to support our own. And I think that is a huge downfall. It is something that we've got to understand, that is a process sometimes, and we have to learn how to support each other and teach and work with each other and encourage each other to do to find ways that we can do better, build on our mistakes, and have a communication and say, hey, you know what, brother, or you know what, sister, this instead of you doing this one way, this didn't work so well. Maybe you can do this, or I'm just going to give you some feedback here. Or do you have a survey, and is there a way that we can provide some productive feedback so that you can aim to do better? And then find other businesses, because we have more than enough businesses in various categories that we can support. But ultimately, we should not have that be the reason that we don't support each other as a whole community. And sometimes we might fall into that trap as well.
Yeah, kind of nitpicking at certain things. And like someone said in the chat, Z, we need to also recognize and acknowledge each other's value and contribution. And I also threw in there, asking for that family discount all the time. You don't ask your white counterparts for that. So we have to value our worth and the work that we're putting out there, especially if you look like me. I would expect for you to support in that way. So thank you for that. And Adam has his hand raised, so we'll take a question from Adam.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Will Nation. Thank you for having this conversation. I just wanted to add on and say that fear is the greatest weapon in terms of destroying the self. When you have that kind of fear for yourself, then we can't really expect the young generation to progress and develop when adults are operating in that fear-based mindset when it comes to supporting each other and developing what is beneficial for us. So I just want to say that we as a people need to get rid of that fear mindset and to get rid of that self-doubt, because if you don't get rid of that self-doubt, then we're going to continue to keep complaining about the same problem, and consequently no one around the globe is going to respect us. So I just wanted to add on to what the facilitator said, and I'm complete.
Nice. Woo, and powerful. This conversation, yeah, this is like a 3-hour conversation, but I want to add on to that too, because there is, we have to, what Mansour said, but we're all saying that internal work is so important on so many levels, like really getting clear and aligned with what's happening with us and our own personal healing. Fatou and I were talking the other day, and she shared a story around her grandparents, your parents, grandparents, that were sharecroppers.
Grandparents.
Yeah, well, sharecroppers, and just the trauma attached to these white landowners or whatever that her grandfather was doing business with, and just changing the rules every step of the way. He had his business, but they just changing the rules on him. And what kind of trauma lives in the body after that, right? How do you trust which way to go? And so when we talk about businesses and Black-owned businesses, there's been loopholes, so many loopholes set up. There's not just like an in-your-face racism, right? So when you're taking a loan from a bank, or you're getting a grant from a foundation, or you're getting something from the government, there's like embedded within those systems, really deeply rooted racist policies. And so, we have to, again, show up, give ourselves grace, do our own internal work to work out those traumas that we've been carried generationally. We talked about fear. I think Teresa mentioned even being fearful to travel to Africa at one point in her life, and it's continuing to have these conversations. It's opening the way so we can curate this exchange. I'm hearing more and more of people starting businesses on the continent, and sometimes I'm really supportive of that. And then sometimes I look at it like, okay, let's not copy what the white man has done as well. Like, how do we make sure that whatever we're creating on the continent is going to benefit us all? And so, these are really important conversations before we step our foot. And if you do any business plan, any business owner have started their business plans in the right way, the first questions are always internal, right? Are you good with what are your mindset around money? Are you, it's always internal first, an internal investigation before you start. What is your lifestyle? Is it realistic for you? Just having working with a client now who's looking at maybe doing a bar, but is that realistic for the lifestyle? Because you have children and you have school, they have school, and are you gonna be up 3, 4 in the morning running a bar? And you gotta be up, at 6 a.m. getting your kids to school. So it's always an internal reflection before we go into businesses and even dealing with one another. So Dr. Fatou, and then I think Mansour, we can do some last reflection and then we can wrap up.
Yes, I just wanted to add on one other thing that you should do if you are, in fact, trying to build your business, whatever it is, whatever the service you provide, to contact, be aware of what is happening with your community boards as well as your assembly persons, because in addition to just the opportunity that may present itself around funding or grants, that's one conversation. But another conversation is that there are oftentimes workshops that are presented and organized by our assembly people, and that the community board may be well aware of. There are changes that happen inside of our own neighborhoods, wherever you have your businesses operating. And it's very important that you stay on them, because as assembly people, they know what is happening in terms of the world of business and economy. And they also are equipped to present workshops and help business owners be informed as to how they can keep their business strong and stabilized, and how you can improve on your business and things that you can do. So pick the brains of those particular people, because they are there for that purpose. It does not mean you're asking for handouts or anything like that in that sense. It just means that you are aware of what information is out there, because trust me, people who are not necessarily of the African community do that, and they take advantage, and that is something that is right inside of our local communities. So just be aware of that. There are often workshops happening all the time that we would not necessarily be aware of.
I'm glad you said that, Dr. Gittens, because earlier we were talking about how we might nitpick at Black-owned businesses, and we have some interesting things in the chat about, we spend $1,000, Lisa said, at brand name stores, but we get upset to pay $30 for someone who looks like us, right? But that also goes back to, what about the first generation business owners or people who are just getting this out the gate? And it's that nourishment, it's that feedback that you mentioned before that's going to help our business owners do better, instead of not buying and not patronizing, but you have to maybe give them some feedback so they know, how can I make this business better?
Yeah.
People like you, Catherine, you have all of this information. You're like, you need to do X, Y, and Z internally. And it's like, maybe you have this blueprint that you can share with Black business owners so we can get on the right path, because we are so far behind our white counterparts. So it's that exchange of information, that exchange of enlightenment and feedback that's going to get us on the right path, for sure. So thank you for that.
You. And yeah, just to close us out on this topic, Mansour, if you can just share, and then we'll go to the final slides. And we're gonna talk about part 2 after this, but go ahead.
I'm gonna just say some short things about African culture, and that's how I used to organize. It's about Ubuntu. I am because you are. You are because I am. It's not possible for me to move on my side, for you to move on the other side, and to say that we're going to move as a community. If we are on the nation is like a kind of organization based on some value like Ubuntu is like, for me, the first point for that community to move on the next step economically. I'm gonna send you some example here in Senegal. Finance is the kind of configuration. If you have a project, you put it down on the paper. People are used to just like, that's a kind of start to be a reflex. They just put it down on the paper. The first things you think is just like going to see the government or French people. And if you have, for example, that kind of political position that I have, to talk about Pan-Africanism or Afrocentrism that you affirm, it's not possible to make that move. That's why for me, that was really important. And someone mentioned it, it's just like self-education in a way that you know yourself, it's a knowledge of self, to realize that you the first resource, in a way that you organize things. For me, for example, I am the leader of a movement. It's not proof that I am the big boss. When we go somewhere, I sleep with like the others. I'm laying on the ground like the others. I eating with them. It's a kind of way to say that we're moving on the way together. There is not because I'm at the front, I'm more wise, I'm intelligent, I'm richer, or something like that. But we organize things that you do this part, that's your responsibility. I'm doing my part, that's my responsibility. To make people understand that I'm not gathering all the powers, but the power is here and we share in the execution of this power, each one responsibility. And the first teach was like, I would never write a project to go see the government. It's not about teaching self-determination. For me, it's about to make it possible, realize it by yourself first. And right now, I received the call of the governments to come that, how can we help you? That's the first point, to make people understand that they can do it by themselves. Then I have to wait to the others to come and say, hey, I got this idea, I want to make it possible, but I'm waiting for the others to help me to make it possible. What about you? How the others succeed to make it? For them, they was not waiting for a partner, external partner to come in and say, yo, I'm gonna help you. Because sometimes if they come with the money, they come with visions, they come with political position and say that, I want you to do it like that. And if you accept it, you can be disconnected to your purpose. And that's why it's really important to keep your purpose clear in your eyes, in your heart, in your tools, and move like your own way. To say, hey, we want money, but we don't want money to prove that we're superior to the others in our community. We want abundance for each one of us to live decently as a human being, who's not need the permission to the others to be human being. For me, economic is just like this kind of way we have to organize things in our community for each one to not just look around you and see a brother laying down in the street and is suffering because we lost that kind of value, which really give us as a definition of African people. And if we want to go on, we got to just like go back to the education of self and just keep that vision that we're going to make things by us. That's our vision.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Again, 3-hour conversation. So I want to continue. Oh, wow. So much in there, right? And he even touched on yesterday's principle, UJAMAA, collective work and responsibility, right? And we had a beautiful conversation with the kids last night about their own personal journeys with collective work and responsibility within themselves and community and the family, and just to really see how they made those connections. It's all of our responsibility. We are our brothers' keepers and sisters' keepers. So we have to get back to that value set, because without that, you know, we are lost. That is not our way as African people, I do believe. That is not our way. And so as we continue to sort of model what the European has done or is doing and continues to impress upon everyone else across the world, we lose ourselves. And so I love that, you know, these collectives, these conversations are happening. They've been happening. They're continuing to happen. Like Mama Sherlyn said earlier, you know, it's been going on. This has been happening. But what's the impact? But the impact has happened because some of us have listened, right? And it's in ourselves. It's reversing trauma. So keep talking, even though sometimes it seems that those business owners weren't listening or something. You know, Teresa, you just mentioning that to that young woman about her business, I'm sure she's thinking about that, right? Even though she closed out her business, that doesn't mean that only failure is only another a step to growth, right? It's all lessons. It's all lessons for us. There's no low vibration in it. I've closed my business before, and I'm keeping on going. It's just another lesson for me to expand, and it's a process. You know, I have to go internal and then continue to grow. I go internal and I continue to grow. I welcome those lessons, and so that fear will hold you back and keep you in this rat race, right? In order to keep up appearance. But really, is it benefiting the community? Is it healthy for community? Is it healthy for you? Is it healthy for your family? So getting back to that value system is super important. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go there, but Fatou, I know you burning to say something, and then we're gonna close out.
We want more. We want more. We want more. We're not ready to leave.
Yes, this is so much. It's definitely so much. And just also, in addition to those principles that Mansour touched on, he also talked about Kujichagulia, just this idea of us having to be determined, having our own self-determination instead of having someone do something and waiting for someone outside of our community to do for us and for us to do for ourselves. Also, how that is materializing in another way that we should definitely continue to build on is across the water, which is, I want to come back to the way that in going to the continent, I know there's the idea, we've always been, just like when the sisters touched on in speaking today, we have had the trips, right? We have had the journeys to go back to the continent, to do certain things, to be able to understand and learn more about our history, our ancestry, et cetera. But there's also a way that now when we go back, in addition to the many cultural ways that we are tapping in, and the spiritual connections and the healing that we need to do with the trauma of crossing the ocean through our ancestors in a different way, right? We also have to touch base and network with businesses as Africans that have been born on the continent and live on the continent, as well as Africans in diaspora. And sometimes we know that our communities are not always encouraged to have those very economic dialogues, so that we see each other sometimes as separate entities with different types of charges and different types of motivations. And sometimes we need to get rid of all that, throw that out the window, and be like, look, we are a community that if you want to get some support from this side of the water as an African diasporic community, or various diasporic communities, we can support you and in your business if you are based on the continent, if you are building community in the way that, for example, Mansour working with people locally in Senegal and making a difference in his community, we can continue to support you through your businesses there, and you also can support our businesses. And we have to push to do that more, because in that sense, we don't need a third party person that's going to be there as the middle person handling the monies. We don't need someone standing there translating and interpreting for us. We can have dialogue, and this is what has been happening. This is what has happened even just in this last trip that we had to Senegal. There were so many businesses and so many brothers and sisters there, I will honestly say, that are ready to work with Africans from this side of the water and wanting to support us, and also figure out what we can do to have this larger conversation, as well as understand how we can heal, how we can talk about our ancestry, how we can talk about what has happened historically, and have the dialogues that we are so often discouraged from having. And to me, that is practicing the Nguzo Saba 365 days a year, when we can find ways to open up those dialogues and cut middle people out. We don't need the middle people. We're having these conversations more. They're getting deeper. They're economic, they're political, and I think is so absolutely important for us to continue as an international community connected to each other.
Woo, Whew. All right, we are gonna wrap up, y'all.
We have one more share, Catherine.
Yeah, I know, and I want to segue to this sister because I love her so much. But before I segue to her, it's so important because we, gosh, so much I want to share. But so back in 2017, we took a group of 24 people to Cuba. And it was the same concept of reconnecting, connecting with African sisters, brothers and sisters there as well, and to see a society that really stands against capitalism, right? Whatever your views are, but I just to bear witness, and I've been there about 4 times, absolutely phenomenal to see how everybody eats. There are different economic situations there, but nothing as severe as what you experience in communities that are deeply rooted in capitalism, right? It is one of the most beautiful places to see how folks work together. And I want to bring in, I think for part 2 of another artist, that a brother that I work with there, Santiago Hermes. And he's come here, we've worked together here, we brought him here. It's just tremendous how we are all over the globe and how we can continue to support one another without the middleman. I will be transparent. When Kojo and I first started this business, we went through a third party to start a travel, whatever, I forget what it is. But I was adamant, like, we're not doing that. Like, I'm not staying at no hotel that's owned by whoever their partners are. And I'm not doing this for their partner. Like, and so they were very upset, like, why are you not using the services? And it's like, we don't need them. We already have the connections. And we were adamant about that. One thing that we did do, everybody want to pay tickets, and we get, plane tickets, we can get a commission off of it and share that money with our brothers and sisters there. But other than that, we good. So you have to be vocal. You have to be like adamant about because people will back you into a corner. Grantors, funders, government, whoever, they try to back you into working with them and doing it their way, and because they benefit greatly. We get the crumbs, right? They benefit greatly from our wisdom, our talent, our gifts and abilities. But we have to be very vocal. I have had tough conversations with grantors and foundations and governments. And I never thought I would be in a position of having, but because I know who I am, I do not stand for, and I will not go for being taken advantage of, or having my community being taken advantage of. And so with that, I want to segue to Noel to close us out for this session. So Noel, if you can go ahead, and if you're still with us, unmute yourselves, because you've been lighting up this chat, lady. And we want to hear your voice.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, speaking of these community grants, it's so important that when you're applying for them, it's important to share that vision and just say, like, yeah, just important to share that vision and say, yes, paint a picture for them and tell them what you would like to do and what you want to do with this money, and say, hey, this is what I want to do, and put the community a part of that. And the more in deep vision that you are, and the more deep your vision is, they're going to say, okay, well, let's see that. And they want to see everything, and you want to paint that picture. And once you get that community involved, whoever your community may be, they're going to want to see that. And that's when you bring your community in and you paint that beautiful picture, whether it's bringing it to the continent or bringing it to whomever. And when you bring that in, that collective work and responsibility, that's when everybody is in it and deeply rooted in it. And that's the beautiful thing.
I'm saying, thank you for that. I'm sorry, Noel, will you complete? My bad.
I am complete. Absolutely.
Yes. I love this family. And again, Lord Shawnee gonna have us. We were way over, but I thank you, admin, for allowing us to go over, allowing us to have this beautiful conversation. And yeah, if there's nothing else to share in the chats, then we can go to our final slides that the admin has. I think it's our contact slides that are up next, but this has been so powerful. Oh yes, special offers for the WOO community. Yes. So I am offering a special offer. So all of the Wake Up Everybody participants, all of you family, we are inviting you to the INDA Collective 2022 Rites of Passage Journey, which is we have a bunch of places we'll be going to next year, including Cuba. We'll be going to South Carolina. We'll also be going to Georgia, and of course back to Senegal. And so you'll be receiving $100 off of your deposit if you email me at info@KWANZAA.com and you just type WOO Nation in the subject line. That is a special offer to this community. We're really excited for y'all to go. Yes, Cuba and South Carolina. Yes, right.
Yes.
Let's have questions because we want to go. So it's $100 off of their deposit, and then you'll follow up with us with the information of where we're going, or how does this is a membership? How does this work?
So it is actually off of the membership, the deposit off of whatever trip you're going to take with us. You can go on all of the trips with us. You can go on one of the trips with us. And on New Year's Day, I didn't have a slide prepared for y'all, but we will be having a presentation announcement of all of our 2022 journey, our trips. So 8 p.m. on New Year's Day. You can follow me, and when you see my contact slide, you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and you'll see the time and the links for our Kwanzaa celebration for New Year's Day, and we'll be announcing our 2022 journeys. Yeah. So that's
awesome. I'm excited for that.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's right.
All right.
Oh, and here, great. Yeah, here's my contact information. So hit me up. You can call me. You can hit me up on Facebook, Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. My website is here, as well as my email. So everything will be updated, and so you can access and get the information about our New Year's Day event. All right.
And it's also in the chat if you need to grab it from there. Next up.
So my special offer is that anyone who is interested in taking a language course and opening up your minds and preparing for some of these dynamic trips, or speaking with your neighbors. We live in a very international community, whether or not it's New York, New Jersey, wherever we are in the country. I am offering 20% discount off of the registration fee for a course. I am offering the options of French, Wolof, and Spanish, which ideally happen to connect with some of the upcoming trips through INDA Travel. If you are interested in going to West Africa, absolutely, the Wolof, Senegal, the Gambia, and also French as well as Spanish. And Al-Kabulan Institute of Language and Diaspora Studies will open you up to not only how to use the language in a way that if you are very nervous about language learning, we make it, we make this a fun experience. I also teach it from a perspective where you learn not only about the words in the language and the grammar, but you also learn about the culture of where you're going, the culture of why you might say things the way you say them, so that it's full and 360 degrees of understanding of who we are and how we might connect as a people in our African minds through these particular language structures. So feel free, if you're interested, if you're nervous about learning a language, it's okay. We jump right in, we make mistakes, and we laugh. We have a really enjoyable time. The courses at this point are virtual, so it doesn't matter where you are. you can register. So be in touch with me. You can email me at my Gmail address there, and also on Instagram at Al-Kebulan Institute. Feel free to reach out and message me. And I'm so interested. I'm willing. I work with students of all ages. So please, please, please feel free. Come on through.
All right, Dr. Gittens, and how long are your classes if we choose a language?
There are a couple of different packages. For example, I offer in some cases 6 to 8 weeks where classes will meet either weekly or bi-weekly. And then I also offer intensives. If there's, for example, as a part of the group that's going on a trip, sometimes we have an intensive leading up to a certain period before the actual trip, to just become entrenched in the language and learn, and also get a little more comfortable speaking. So I'm encouraging everyone, just be on the lookout, I would say within the next couple of months, especially as we get to mid-winter for the next session that's going to roll through in the early spring.
Awesome, thank you. We do have a question in the chat. What is ILDS an acronym for?
It's Al-Kebulan Institute of Language and Diaspora Studies, in which my philosophy is that language is culture, culture is language. You can't just learn the words, you have to learn why a people might speak the way they speak, or why we use the words to describe, and why do we greet the way we greet? Why are there so many different words, different ways to say brother or sister when you're talking about family relationships, family members? Why is it that having saying half sibling does not even exist in many African languages? Because you're connected and it's not about half or percentage, or, so we talk about those things to understand how to apply the language from the beginning, and why it makes sense philosophically and spiritually, why we have these words. So it is a way that we tap into understanding our full selves, as well as the language structure.
I love how you are all working together. Like Catherine is building the trip up. You are helping us with the culture and the language. Mazu, we're going on tours and looking at artwork together. This is what we're talking about. This is the collective work we're talking about. Beautiful.
Exactly.
And we did have Mika, but he had to hop off because he had a family emergency, but he was with us in the beginning. So Catherine, you want to tell us a little bit more?
Oh my God, do I want to? I don't know how much I can say about this brother, but Baba Mika is he's a historian. Please, if you don't go with us to Senegal, please hit him up. His company is Trip Tour Senegal. Please make sure you support him. His tours are not only, it's just not going to take you to popular places. He is very intentional about where he takes you, and then the history that's given to give you a holistic view about the African diasporic experience. What you see in his picture here, that is the what they call the House of Slaves, right, which is on Goree Island, and he was able to, twice when I've been there, he's been able to secure a space for us to just pour libation, do our prayers in the space. He's just a phenomenal person. Fatou, you can add as well for Mika is.
I would definitely say that as a person that has done research in Senegal and who's lived there while doing my research, I've gone to school there, going and being a part of Mika's tour group and getting to know Mika and his way of presenting Senegal to our people is exactly, I would not do it any differently. Because when we go to the continent, especially in understanding that we're going for more than just the simple surface reasons of being tourist, tourism is cool. I'm not trying to hate on that, but we know also that there are other reasons that we want to connect to the soil when we go to the continent as Africans in diaspora. And Mika understands that. And his group that he works with understands that. And they create a space for us to be able to take in what we see, the pain we may feel, the ancestral recall or memory that we may feel. He understands that. He presents a space for us to be able to experience and go through that. And that's, I would say, so incredibly important for us, and that makes all the difference in the world for me when you go to a spiritual space, such as, for example, the La Maison des Esclaves, and you're facing that door of no return. So I would just say, I wouldn't do it any other way. And the way he's done it, I just commend him. I can't commend him enough and his people for creating that spiritual space for us to be able to grow through that experience.
Catherine, you got a few people on the list already. All right. And Mazu, how can we keep up with you?
The first, I'm gonna just share an experience here. The first time I was like really focused on African people in the Euros, for example. Some Senegalese people was asking me, why you all the time wasting your time with those people who's not your people? Because they don't understand that what I was feeling is like, I'm gonna let them just know that if you walk in the street of America, for example, for this system organizing, for this police having to just like gun point on a target, you target of the system. It's not because you African American, because you were Black people living in America. You are the same target of the system. So that can push you to understand that that's your people living there. And at that point, you have to be prepared here how they can just like enterprise this back to the source. So back into the source is not exclusively only physical, but spiritually, intellectually, culturally, and then after comes socially to be possible and it just be organized as a nation. And my work basically start there and keep focus on my people living outside of Africa to make them understand that here they can find a home. Here they can find a family. They can find their own. And it just make them understand that whenever or whatever they want to do here, they're welcome to make it possible here. So it's just like organizing is basically, and we open the center for that. We organizing all of that. We have several members from Benin to Kenya. They all here sharing with us. It's a kind of way to say people that you welcome at home, and whatever you feel comfortable to come and make the work for our community. Here you can find some people ready intellectually and physically to make that move forward.
You definitely found the right group of people, because we are here to pour in and to support as much as possible. Thank you, Catherine, for bringing up the slide deck of Mazu's amazing art center in Senegal. So we do have an opportunity for you all to pour in and share love offerings with Mazu and his vision and his community as well. Awesome. Thank you, Catherine. So I'll put up the slide now with the information for the love offering. You can see some of his artwork here. And so Mazu, is the best way to be in contact with you or to see your artwork through your Instagram page?
Yeah, on Instagram, okay. Also have my phone number, so you can join me whenever you feel comfortable to do.
Perfect. So here is how you can send your love offerings over to Mazu in the art center that he is working on in the community in Senegal. So even our love offerings is international. We hope and build across the world over here, Woo Nation. Awesome. All right. Thank you to our presenters today, our new family, our international family. And like we said, we're going to have a part 2 You're always welcome back. And we'll have an official 90-minute segment. But thank you all for staying on with us as long as you have. And to those of you who are coming back with us tomorrow, we hope you will. We're going to have our end of the year performance. It's already December 30th. And our amazing Woo community members, we have Dave Ross, Ayana Gregory, we have South Speaks, Sonale, and then we have some other performers who are going to be in the house with us tomorrow. And of course, it's hosted by ours truly, Shawnee Benton Gibson. We're going to see all of these different talents showcased in the space. We got singing, dancing, musical instruments, everything, just to showcase just how amazing we are as Black people, right? So 7 to 9 a.m. tomorrow morning Eastern time. You two are welcome to join us again, Dr. Gittens and Mazu, if you want to hop on the line and see what's going on in the community tomorrow.
Yes.
So please register if you haven't already and join us the same space, same time tomorrow. We're going to go over a little bit because we're going to have a party for the end of the year. So join us then.
Thank you.
And to all of the new members, such as yourself, Dr. Gittens and Mazu, like I said, you're always welcome back in this space. So we want you to join our community where you can come to learn, elevate, and ascend every morning, well, Sunday through Thursday with us, and get a peek of what we are sharing with the community. So come back if you are just joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And
Thank
again,
you.
this is our schedule. This is for everyone. So we're in the Zoom space Sunday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 7 a.m. to 8:30. Today we stretched. We went a little over, but it was perfect and it was divine and everyone got something out of this. So Mondays and Wednesdays, 7 to 7:30 a.m. And we also stream on Facebook. And but we always want your beautiful faces and energy in the Zoom space if you can. And you can always text 74121 for those Zoom alerts to get you in the space. And we got new swag. So you got to order some things. If you need a new mug, a new water bottle, we're going back to work. Some of us are on vacation right now. So go back to work in style with your tote bag and your notepads and all of that stuff. So you can go check us out at bit.ly/wooswag and check out what we have, some of the new items that we got for you. And so always, please stay in touch with us. To register for next week, you're going to go to bit.ly/wakeupmovement. You can catch the replays on our Facebook page and our Instagram. And if you have any questions, info.wakeupseries@gmail.com. And we're more than happy to reach out to you, answer any questions that the community might have. All right. And so now is our time to shower our amazing presenters with some love. And so we're going to unmute you all so you can shower them with love and let them know how much we appreciated them in this presentation and how much we want you to come back. So thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
This
Dr.
is
Angela.
so needed.
Yes, thank y'all, thank y'all,
Different
thank y'all.
things
We
about
love
how to
y'all.
apply for these
Thank
grants.
Teresa,
So needed.
Shawnee,
Get the community involved. It's so
amazing.
important.
Wow.
And so you guys made a really good point, and I'm so grateful for
and that's what I
y'all.
always say.
Thank you, admin team. Y'all rock, y'all rock, y'all rock.
Coach
We
Catherine,
love
you are
y'all.
wrong.
We love y'all. We love y'all. We love y'all.
Ashe, Ashe, Ashe.
Can't wait to part
And move
2.
forward.
Thank
Part
you.
3.
I'm looking
Part
forward to part
4.
2.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
yes,
Thank
yes.
you. Thank you.
This
Ashe,
was
Ashe,
awesomeness,
Ashe.
awesomeness, awesomeness,
So
awesomeness.
much. This was
Woo!
wonderful. We
Mm.
need to have you back again and again and again and again and again.
Please
Like,
come back
please
for part
come back.
2.
During
This
the
part, a
year,
part
it
2 is
doesn't have to
so
be
needed.
around Kwanzaa.
We need a monthly
Yes.
series of this.
My
Monthly,
sister,
monthly, monthly,
Yes.
monthly,
Y'all need a monthly
monthly.
series for this. Thank
Yes,
you. Thank
monthly.
you.
Come back monthly. Please
Thank
come
you.
back. Yes.
Ooh.
And let's
my
support y'all.
sister.
Let's send the money. Let's send the money today, family.
Yes,
I love you,
Send that
my
yes,
money.
yes,
Send that
yes.
money, please.
I'm ready to work on a grant
Yes.
right now for working with y'all.
Oh,
We
Come
got
on now.
grants
Come
already. All
on. Te
right.
adoro. I see. Yes, yes, yes,
Put them on the
yes,
calendar
yes.
right now, please.
Catherine, thank you so much,
Please.
Catherine. My cousin. You know we cousin. I don't care if we are the same lineage. We cousins, Catherine.
This was amazing. Oh my goodness. Thank you.